Hello everyone, welcome to your partner in education, Agile Rank Mate. Today, in this episode of IIFT Insights, we're going to be looking at some sample questions with their solutions from the IIFT exam. Now, IIFT is all about logical reasoning, so today we'll be looking at some questions of logical reasoning and how to solve them effectively. So, let's start off. Today we have quantitative reasoning as our subject. And in questions like these, they usually have directions for a set of questions. So let's look at the direction for the first set. A quiz competition was organized in a school and the performance of students was recorded on a piece of paper with ink. But somehow, some water fell on the paper and the information remained incomplete. However, the scorer has some clues, which are as follows. Number 1, half of the students were either excellent or good. 40% of the students were females, and 1/3 of the male students were average. Also, we've got the incomplete sheet here, which says that the total number of good students are 33, the male excellent students are 12, and the total number of females are 36. So, how do we solve this question? Well, before looking at the questions themselves, we would need to fill up this entire table. And we have to do that using the clues here. Now let's look at the second clue. The second clue says 40% of the students were females, which implies that 60% are males. We are also given the amount of total females, which is 36. So therefore, 40 divided by 100 times x gives you 36. So basically, x will now turn out to be 36 times 100 over 40. 10 gets cancelled. 36 divided by 4 is 9. 9 times 10 gives you 90. So therefore, the total number of students in the particular quiz is 90. Now that we know the total number of students and the total number of female students, it's a good idea to calculate the total number of male students. So, total male students will now turn out to be 90 minus 36, which means the grand total minus the total number of females, which is 90 minus 36. That is equal to 10 minus 6 is 4, 8 minus 3 is 5. So 54 is the total number of male students. So now that we've filled up this column containing the totals, we have total males, total females, and the grand total. Now, let's look at another clue here. 1/3 of the male students were average, which means that if you have a total of 54 males, 1/3 of this number, that is 54, represents the number of students. Those are male and average. So let's write the point down. 1/3 of males are average. Now the number of males is given as 54 in total. So therefore 1 by 3 times 54 would give you the number of average males. 54 is a multiple of 3. 54 divided by 3, if you divide that, you will get 18. So therefore, the number of average students that are male turns out to be 18. Now that we know the total number of male students, the number of excellent male students, and the number of average male students, we can calculate the number of good male students. So, good male students is equal to total minus the sum of the number of average students and the number of excellent students, which is, in numerical terms, 90 minus 18 plus 12. It's not 90 here. because we're looking at total males, so that would be 54. So 54 minus, in brackets you have 18 plus 12. So 54 minus 30, which is the sum of 18 and 12, will give you 24. The number of good male students is 24. Now that you know the number of good male students and the total number of good students, we can calculate the number of good female students. So this is what we need to fill right now. So good female students is equal to total good minus good male, which in this case turns out to be 33 minus 24, which is equal to 9. So the number of good female students turns out to be 9. Now, we need to look at the first clue. We've looked at the third clue, we've looked at the second clue, and we've filled up this table so far. So we've filled up the average males, we've filled up the average males, good females, total males, and the grand total. Now, in order to solve the rest of it, we would need to look at the first clue. The first clue says half the students were either excellent or good. So in this case, half the students would mean half of the grand total, which is half of 90. 90 over 2 gives you 45. So 45 students were either excellent or good, which means the rest half, the other half, that's the rest of the 45 students, were considered average. So we now know that the total average students turns out to be 45. And that number will be equal to the sum of good and excellent students. So sum of good and excellent is equal to total average. So therefore 33 plus x gives you 45. X is equal to 45 minus 33, which is equal to 12. So as you can see, we have a total of 12 students that are excellent. But if you look at the column, you can see that the number of male excellent students are also 12. That means the number of female excellent students turns out to be 0. Similarly, you have 45 minus 18 giving you the number of average female. So the number of average female students would now turn out to be the difference between 45 and 18, that is 27. So now average males are 18, average females are 27, good males are 24, good females are 9, excellent males are 12, excellent females are 0. Total males are 54, total females are 36, total average is 45, total good is 33, total excellent is 12, and the grand total is 90 students. So now, let's look at our 5 questions. Question number 1. How many students are both female and excellent? Well, you know this answer because all you have to do is look at the column for excellent and female, and you know that the answer to this is option A, 0. The other numbers do not exist in the particular graph, so you don't have 8 or 16 in the table, so therefore option A turns out to be the right option. Next question. What proportion of good students are male? Now, in this particular question, we are asked to find the proportion, which means we need to know the total number of good students and the male good students. So here, the total number of good students, according to the table, is 33. And the total number of male students that are good is 24. So therefore, the proportion between male good over total turns out to be 24 over 33. Both of them are divisible by 3, so we get 8 over 11. So when you divide 8 with 11, you have a 0 point. So that means option B is incorrect. And then the dividend becomes 80 because you put in a point in there, so you can add as much zeros as you want because now you're in the decimal zone. So 11 times 7 gives you 77. That gives you 3. Now you get 0.7 so far, and among the options, it's clear that option A is the right answer. Option C and option D are incorrect. So you don't have to divide the whole thing because you'll add a 0, you'll get a 2, and then the decimal goes on and on. It's approximately equal to 0.73. So option A turns out to be the right option in this case. The proportion of good students being male is 73. That means 0.73. Now, the next question. What proportion of female students are good? Now, this might look like the previous question, but over here, we will take the total female students, and we will be using it to divide the number of good female students. So the number of good female students is equal to 9. The total number of female students is equal to 36. So the ratio here, the proportion here, turns out to be 9 over 36. So 36 is divisible by 9, so the ratio now boils itself down to 1 over 4, which is equal to 0.25. So therefore, option A is the right answer once again. 0.5 gives you half. 0 is having the numerator as 0 and the denominator as any number, which is greater than 0. And none of these is incorrect because we know that 0.25 is the right answer by calculating. So, in this question again, option A is the right option. Now let's look at question number 4. How many students are both male and good? So here we're asked to find out the number of good male students. If you look at our table, then you can see that the number corresponding with both good and male is the number 24. So 24 is the right answer, option B. Option A is incorrect. It does not exist in our table. Option C, 27, is the number of average females. So option C is also incorrect. And option D is incorrect because we already know that option B is the right answer. Now, question number 5, the last question of this particular scenario. Now, among average students, what's the ratio of males to females? So we have to divide average males with average females to get the ratio. The number of average males is 18. The number of average females is 27. So our ratio is now 18 is to 27. Both of these numbers are divisible by 9, so we get a simplified ratio of 2 is to 3. So 2 is to 3 turns out to be the right option. Option A, 1 is to 3 is incorrect, and option C, 3 is to 2 is incorrect. This would have been the case if they said females to males, but the ratio here is asking for males to females, in which case option B is the right option. And since we know that option B is correct, option D, none of these would also be incorrect. So that concludes the first set. Now let's look at another set for you to practice and solve. Directions for questions 6 to 10. A, B, C, and D are 4 friends living together in a flat, and they have an agreement that whatever edible comes, they will share equally among themselves. One day, A's uncle came to him and gave him a box of laddus. Since no one was around, A divided the laddus into 4 equal parts and ate his share, after which he put the rest in the box. As he was closing the box, B walked in, took the box from A, and divided the laddus into 4 equal parts again. And A and B took 1 part each and ate it. Suddenly, C appeared and snatched the box. He again divided the laddus into 4 equal parts, and the 3 of them ate 1 part each, and kept the remaining laddus in the box. Later, when D came, he again divided the laddus into 4 equal parts, and all 4 of them ate their respective share. In total, D ate 3 laddus. Now, at first glance, it appears simple. Whatever the total number of laddus would be, the 4 times the number of each person's share. However, if you look at the question again, the division of the laddus into 4 parts happens 4 times. So when A gave him the total box, A ate 1/4 of that box. And then the 3/4 that's left was again divided into 4 parts, and A and B ate those. So there is a consequent division happening. So therefore, just multiplying 4 with 3, giving us 12, would not give us the right answer here. So how do we solve this? Well, let's start tracking them from the last time that they ate laddus. Alright? So let's construct a table. We have A, B, C, D, and the total laddus left. And then let's start off from the last division. Now, in the last division, we know that D ate a total of 3 laddus. And since D was the last person to come in, he would get the smallest share. Since he ate 3 laddus, and when D came, he divided it into 4 equal parts, we know that A, B, and C also ate 3 laddus along with D. So therefore, the total left would be 0, because by the time D came, all the laddus were finished. Now, when we look at the second last scenario, we realize that when C divided it into 4 equal parts, A, B, and C ate each part, and the remaining part was equal to 12 that D came and divided in the last case. So therefore, so if you look at the question, the total of the share of A, B, C, and D in the last scenario is 12. And that was the share given for D in the second last scenario. So A would eat a total of 12, B would eat a total of 12, and C would also eat a total of 12. D would not be eating it because he wasn't there, and the total left would have been 12. Now, if you look at the third last scenario, over here, C was not eating anything, neither was D. So it was just A and B eating their share. Now, if you look at the shares of A, B, C, and the remaining share left for D in the second last scenario, they add up to 48. 12 times 4 is 48. So basically, that was the basically the share for each one of the person in the third last scenario. So what does that mean? That means A ate so the number 48 here represents the share for both C and D. So when you divide 48 by 2, then you would find out each person's share would be equal to 24. So when we erase this off and then we start writing again, we see that A ate 24 laddus in the third last scenario, and B ate 24 laddus. And the remaining number of laddus were 48. And it was from this 48 that the second last scenario and the last scenario happened. So, let's look at the first scenario. In the first scenario, 48 plus 24 plus 24, that means 96 laddus were left over. We also know that B, C, and D did not eat anything. Now basically 96 is the share of all of B, C, and D. So when you divide 96 with 3, you'll get 32 as the share of A. So in the first scenario, after he received the box, A ate a share of 32 laddus. So that means at the start, inside the box, we had a total of 128 laddus. We had to just add 96 with 32 to get 128. So that was how the laddus were shared among the 4 friends. So it turns out it's not an equal share after all, is it? So the total number for D was 3. The total share for C was 15. The total number of laddus that B ate were 15 plus 24, which turns out to be 39. And the total number of laddus that A ate were 39 plus 32. 9 plus 2 is 11. So 3 3s are 6. 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7. So A ate a total of 71 laddus. So this is the grand total of laddus that they ate. So as you can see, it's not an equal share, since they had to divide it 4 times over. So therefore, A got a larger share than any of the others. So let's look at the questions. Question number 6. How many laddus in total did C eat? So the total number of laddus that C ate were 3 and 12. The addition of 3 and 12, that gives you 15. So option B, 15, is the right answer. Option A, option A, 12, is wrong. That's the number of laddus C ate during his first share. And option C, 39, is the total number for B. So option D, none of these is also incorrect because we found out that B is the right answer. Question number 7. How many laddus in total did B eat? So B's share would start from 24, and then 12, and then 3. So 4 plus 2 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 4 plus 2 is 6, actually. 6 plus 3 is 9. My apologies. And then 2 plus 1 gives you 3. So therefore, 39, option C, is the right answer. 24 was the share that A and B got, and 15 was the total number of laddus for C. And since we know that option C is the right answer, option D is also incorrect. Question number 8. How many laddus in total did A eat? So as you can see, we start from 32, 24, 12, and 3. So 2 plus 4 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11. 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 2 is 6, 6 plus 1 is 7. So we got a total of 71 laddus. The other two numbers are not present in our table for calculating laddus, and option D, none of these is incorrect because we found out that C is the right answer. Question number 9. How many laddus were given to A by his uncle? So we have option A, 128, option B, 125, option C, 113, option D, none of these. And when we've calculated it, so we have A's total share as 71, B's total share as 39, C's total share as 15, and D's total share as 3. 1 plus 10 gives you 10, 10 plus 5 is 15, 15 plus 3 is 18. 7 plus 1 is 8. 8 plus 3 is 11. 11 plus 1 is 12. So a total of 128 laddus. A is the right option. The other options are not present, and since A is the right answer, option D is also incorrect. Now let's look at the final question for the day. How many laddus did A eat the first time? We're talking about the first scenario where A divided the total number of laddus into 4 parts and ate his particular share. So that basically is 128 over 4. 12 over 4 gives you 3. 8 over 4 gives you 2. So basically the answer is option A, 32. Option B, 24, was the share for A and B during the second division. Option C, 15, was the total number of laddus that C ate. And since option A is correct, option D turns out to be incorrect. So that concludes this episode of IIFT Insights. We hope you found this episode interesting. There are a lot of questions like this for IIFT based on logical reasoning. So if you want to learn more about IIFT or any of our other segments about other exams, then please don't forget to subscribe to Agile Rank Mate, your partner in education. You can also hit the bell icon to receive our latest updates. So until the next webisode, take care, stay alert, bye-bye for now.